here's your host, Conan O'Brien.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to ConanDiffusion. How are you all doing? I hope you had a fantastic Super Bowl Sunday and that you're ready for a night of laughter and entertainment. The Super Bowl showdown between the Philadelphia Eagles and Kansas City Chiefs was a nail-biter that had everyone on the edge of their seats. And in the end, the Chiefs emerged victorious with a game-defining play in the fourth quarter. With an average of 113 million viewers across Fox's television and digital platforms, according to early Nielsen data, the Super Bowl has become the third most-watched television program of all time. But let's be real. The real winner of the Super Bowl was anyone who got to stuff their face with nachos and wings for 3 hours straight. And for those who had to go to work the next day, let's just say it was a rough Monday morning. And speaking of rough mornings, can you imagine being the Philadelphia Eagles right now? Their dreams of Super Bowl glory were dashed in the final quarter, and now they're left with nothing but a bag of chips and a crying emoji. But let's give it up for the halftime show, featuring none other than the Queen herself, Rihanna. With an average of 118.7 million viewers, it was the second most watched performance in Super Bowl history. And let's be real, who wouldn't want to watch Rihanna slay the stage for 12 minutes? In the end, it's clear that the Super Bowl was a hit, with the biggest viewing audiences coming from cities like Kansas City, Philadelphia, Cincinnati, and Detroit. So let's raise a glass to the game that brings us all together, even if it's just to argue about which team is better. But enough about the Super Bowl, because it's time for the real show to begin. And speaking of the real show, our first guest tonight is none other than the charming and hilarious Paul Rudd. And later on, we've got the king of comedy himself, Chris Rock. So stick around, folks. It's going to be a wild ride. Welcome back, folks. We're here with the one and only Paul Rudd. So, Paul, you've been in the business for quite some time now. What's the secret to your longevity in Hollywood?
Well, Conan, I just try to always keep myself looking young. You know, like you do.
Oh, come on. I'm not that old.
No, of course not. You're only like, what, 120?
I'll have you know, I'm a mere spring chicken in comparison. But seriously, how do you stay so fresh-faced?
I don't know, man. Maybe it's my role as Ant-Man that keeps me young at heart.
That's it. It's the superhero lifestyle for you. Speaking of superheroes, you've got a movie coming out that I know Marvel fans are dying to see. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is the highly anticipated sequel to Ant-Man and the Wasp. What can you tell us about this exciting new film?
Oh man, Conan, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is going to be a wild ride. Scott Lang and Hope Van Dyne are back, and this time they're taking the quantum realm head-on with the rest of the family. We've got Hank Pym, Janet Van Dyne, and Cassie all joining us on this new adventure. And of course, we've got the amazing Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror, who's sure to give us a run for our money.
That sounds amazing. And from what I've heard, it's got some of the best visual effects in the Marvel Cinematic Universe yet.
Absolutely. The quantum realm is such a trippy and mind-bending place, and I think the visual effects team has done an incredible job bringing it to life.
Well, I can't wait to see it, Paul, and I know our audience is going to love it too. And it's time for a sneak peek of your latest film, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Paul, why don't you introduce the clip for us?
Of course, Conan. I'm excited to share this with you, so sit back and enjoy.
What the? Paul, what is this?
I'm sorry, Conan. I couldn't resist. I had to do a little prank on you.
That's a classic, but you got me good. All right, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have the one and only Chris Rock. Welcome back to ConanDiffusion. In our last segment, we had a blast with Paul Rudd, but now it's time to dive into the world of artificial intelligence and see what it can come up with. So I've got a few AI-generated images here, and I'm going to give you my honest opinion on each one. Let's start with this one. Image of a giraffe wearing a tuxedo. Well, look who's all dressed up. Our first image is of a giraffe looking sharp in a tuxedo. I mean, who says giraffes can't be formal? This one is ready for a black tie event, and I have a feeling he's going to be the life of the party. But let's be real. Have you ever seen a giraffe in a tuxedo before? It's like seeing a penguin in a Hawaiian shirt. It just doesn't make sense, but it's hilarious. And let's not forget, those long legs are perfect for those fancy ballroom dances. Who needs Fred Astaire when you've got a giraffe in a tuxedo? Next up, we've got a cat who's dressed to impress. Behold, the AI-generated portrait of a cat with a monocle and a top hat. What's next, a cat with a cane and a smoking jacket? This cat is so fancy, I'm surprised it hasn't hired a personal butler. And the monocle? Well, that's just the cherry on top of the cat tattooed sundae. I give it a 9 out of 9 lives for sophistication. And now we've got a real sentimental robot. Check out this AI-generated portrait of a robot holding a bouquet of flowers. Who knew robots could be romantic? I guess this guy is trying to win back his ex-girlfriend, who was probably a toaster or something. I mean, it's not like robots have hearts, right? Or do they? This AI is making me question everything I thought I knew about love and technology. Well, I guess love knows no bounds, even for robots. And who knows, maybe this guy will finally find happiness with his bouquet of flowers. Give it a grade of B for bouquet. And now, we've got a special treat for all you fans of ConanDiffusion. Let's take a look at this AI-generated portrait of our very own host, Conan, wearing a tutu and a tiara. Well, it looks like AI has finally cracked the code on how to humiliate me. A tutu and a tiara? I didn't think it was possible, but this picture is even more embarrassing than the time I wore a cowboy hat to the grocery store. But you know what? I'm embracing it. I may not be a ballerina, but I've got moves like Jagger in this tutu. And that's it for our AI image review segment. From cats in top hats to giraffes in tuxedos to love-struck robots, it looks like AI is bringing a whole new level of ridiculousness to the world of portraits. But I have to say, it's been a wild ride, and I'm thoroughly entertained. So folks, stick around because the real show is just getting started. Up next, we've got the one and only Chris Rock, who's here to bring the laughs and the heat. Don't you dare change that channel because this is going to be a good one. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Rock.
All right, folks, I gotta say, I'm pretty excited to be here on ConanDiffusion. I mean, an AI-generated talk show, who would have thought? I guess we're one step closer to robots taking over the world. But, you know what they say, if you can't beat them, join them. So, I'm here to talk to my new robot friend, Conan. You know, I've never been on a talk show hosted by a machine before. It's like playing chess against a computer. You know you're gonna lose, but you gotta play anyway. But seriously, folks, it's pretty impressive what they can do with AI these days. I mean, they can generate a talk show, but can they generate a decent joke? That's the real test. But I guess I'm here to find out. Let's talk about something that's been on my mind lately. I mean, what the hell is going on with society these days? It's like we're all just walking around with our heads up our own asses, you know what I'm saying? And let's talk about dating. I mean, what the hell happened to just talking to someone and asking them out on a date? Now it's all about swiping left or right, like you're shopping for a new pair of shoes or something. And don't even get me started on the whole ghosting phenomenon. It's like, hey, let's pretend we don't have a problem anymore and go back to our regularly scheduled programming. But the reality is, if you can't handle a little rejection, you probably shouldn't be dating in the first place. And let's not forget about social media. I mean, have you seen the stuff people post online? It's like they're trying to impress their imaginary friends. Look at me, I'm at the gym. Look at me, I'm on a beach in Bali. Look at me, I'm eating a salad. Who the hell cares? It's like, hey, let's pretend we're living life to the fullest. But in reality, we're just staring at a screen all day. And don't even get me started on the current political climate. I mean, have you seen the news lately? It's like a reality TV show. But instead of a prize, we get 4 more years of this bullshit. It's like, hey, let's pretend we're a functioning society, but in reality, we're just arguing with each other all day. But you know what's really funny? When people say, oh, I don't pay attention to politics. Yeah, I know you don't pay attention to politics. But when you vote for the wrong person and they screw up the country, you're going to be the first one complaining. It's like, oh, I don't pay attention to cooking, but I'm starving. And the environment, what's going on there? It's like we're just trashing the planet and handing it off to the next generation like, here you go, good luck with that. But the truth is, we're not doing them any favors. It's like handing a kid a ticking time bomb and saying, here you go, have fun with that. But you know what? Despite all the madness, there's still hope. People are speaking out and fighting for change, and that's a beautiful thing. We just need to keep the conversation going and keep pushing for progress.
For those of you who don't know, No Reruns is our new channel, and it's all about using generative AI to create infinite generations of your favorite TV shows. That's right. No more waiting for new episodes, no more reruns. With No Reruns, we can bring you endless hours of fresh new content, whenever and wherever you want it. And speaking of fresh new content, I want to remind you that you can catch a brand new episode of Infinite Conan right here on No Reruns every week. So stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.